with our Jeff and Zhao joining us, of course, in studio for Entrepreneurship 101. Welcome.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. Now today, let's talk a little bit about SMEs and global conferences that we've seen coming to Kenya.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen a lot of trade summits.
Yeah.
We have Skull Congress that is set to be from the 17th of October in Mombasa. We've got Africa Hotel Investment Forum this week, Maritime Conference recently.
Yeah.
A lot of international eyes on the country right now. But for SMEs, let's start off with how do they position themselves so that they are best able to portray what they can offer to these investors?
All right. First, entrepreneurs, in the last, let's say, 3-4 years, there's been very many conferences, global conferences, African conferences. In a couple of weeks, there'll be the International African Youth Conference at the UN. There's been so many of them. But many of our entrepreneurs are not well positioned or have not structured themselves in a way that they can be able to recoup from being in these conferences. So even if you come in and exhibit, if you have not created a product for the international market, then your positioning is useless. It becomes showbiz. So people come in, see, clap for you, see, you take photos, selfies, but it ends there. You have to position yourself deliberately for the international market. And I want to speak to two people.
Yes.
The first person I want to speak to is persons who are exhibiting in these conferences. That's on one end. On the other end is other entrepreneurs out there who want to participate in international trade. The person who's exhibiting in these international conferences, one, you have to know who is the audience. Which country are they from? Are they Francophone? Do they speak English? Are they Arabic countries? Because there are many Arabic countries around the world. What language do they speak? What product do you have? What do they need? If you're targeting an Islamic country, are you targeting them on products that they need, or you're targeting them with products that are taboo, like maybe pork, for example?
So not products you think they need, but products that are aligned to them.
Aligned to them. Products that are within their realm of need. For example, West African countries, we talk about the wheat flour here in Kenya. They talk about cassava flour. Big market for them. When you talk about places like China, there's been many international treaties that have been signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta, but we don't really stop to ask ourselves what things are needed by these guys. There's a big demand for fresh food, for vegetables, for meat, for different kinds of meat. There's actually a particular type of chicken that is is in huge demand. It's actually demand up to till you drop. Meaning that if you're given an order, it's just bring as much as you can.
Which type of chicken is this now that you have brought it up? There's a
particular type of chicken. If you Google on Africa, on Chinese delicacy, you'll be able to find it. I can't remember the particular name, but it's... So ask yourself and do research on the specific type of products that the different people need. Okay. If it is a conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've seen that, as you've mentioned, especially when it comes to exports, meats, even horticulture, flowers, fresh foods are in demand. But what are the key factors to ensure that you have in place before you start off? You said, you know, focus on what they need.
Yes.
Now that you know what they need, what do you need to be able to manage that kind of export delivery?
Different types of products have different regulations. Horticulture, fruits, vegetable, perishables are regulated under a body within that's actually housed within the airport on export management. So you have to ensure the product that you have, who is the regulator? Get a license from the regulator. I helped a series of clients in the last 2 months to get export license for horticulture. I was so surprised that these government agencies are so proactive. They actually hope that people will come in to ask them, I want to import this. They will come into your farm, ask you a few questions, find out how your packaging is, and they actually are very keen on helping. Another big organization is Export Promotion Council. Export Promotion Council gives you a lot of advice on the different kinds of products. There's a lot of IT export. Many countries around the region, Rwanda, Burundi, all their banks are using Kenyan systems. So there's a lot of IT export. Some exports such as IT are not yet regulated in how you do them. So it's about getting the demand and going in, pursuing the market.
So you see demand, supply, but of
course...
Demand,
supply.
Yes, where there are those institutions in place, you liaise with them and get moving.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how do currency gains come into play here, of course, and how can they be capitalized when it comes to export and, of course, international trade?
Many a times we only think about our currency. When you're selling in international market, you use the global currency. Many a times it's a dollar. Sometimes if you're selling in the European belt, it's the euro or the pound. Most of the times you get way better prices because of the currency gains that you will be able to accrue as a business person. In the event that our shilling goes weaker, and this is sad to say, when our shilling goes weaker, even if it's just by 1 shilling, you make huge amounts of money. So one of the things I advise clients who export, open dollar accounts or foreign currency accounts with your clients, so that you keep the money in the foreign currency. So at the times that you have a slug in our shilling, then you can be able to take advantage. I want to take you back a bit to 2017 after the elections.
Yes.
I was in a show just like this one around that time, and the whole country, everyone was crying because of different challenges that accrued because of politics. But remember, if you focused on international trade, there was no crisis in Uganda, there was no crisis in Tanzania, there was no crisis in Rwanda, there was no crisis in many other parts of the world.
Yes.
So if you focus on international trade, and if you focus on accruing benefits of all these conferences that are going on, then you can be able to have a market that is bigger than just our 47 million customers or 47 million population in the country.
Okay. So definitely, you know, as they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
Export and international trade is the way to go, even with SMEs, entrepreneurs, and anybody starting off.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jeff and Zhao. Always